Hello everyone, Joekool here. Thanks for watching Joekoolreefvid here on YouTube. And since a lot of us are staying at home, here's my lovely assistant Dixie, walking back and forth. Anyway, since a lot of us are staying at home, Florida, we have a stay-at-home order. Actually, in my job, I'm an essential worker. I clean, do decontamination, communicable diseases, viruses, biohazard technician, so I might get called out during the video, who knows, but I'm taking the time. There's a lot of you sitting around, you're probably bored out of your mind trying to figure out what you want to do, but let's talk about a little maintenance. On my tank, I have two return pumps, dual return pumps, and it's a good time to clean them. You should probably do this once a month, every other month. There's a slime that builds up inside your pumps and your impellers that will reduce the flow. If you're adjusting your overflow settings or your Herbie or Durso, whatever you may have frequently, then you're changing the amount of water that's getting pumped into your display. So it's always a good idea to keep them clean. That way you don't have to fluctuate anything. So we're going to go through how I clean my pumps. First, I have the two return pumps shut down. First, I had washed both my hands and my arms, my upper arms, with just regular Dawn dish soap, nothing antibacterial, just lightly, and then some paper towels to dry them off. And I have a towel set up here so I don't make a ton of water on the floor. My dog will walk through it, and then there'll be muddy footprints everywhere, but she's running around chasing squirrels. Yeah, don't look at me like that. Alright, so just get this pump out of here. Dump the water out of it. Set it on the towel. Now this is a DC pump. A lot of us are using DC pumps nowadays. Most of them have a housing on them. You just twist it counterclockwise, comes apart. You won't be able to see it, but I can. Just looks like this funk, like gel built up in here, and that's what we're cleaning out. Take the whole impeller housing out. You'll see on your magnet there'll be a bunch of goop. Not sure if you can see that on there, but this slows down the pump and the amount of water I can push through it. Got your O-ring here. You may ask, on a tank this size, 687 gallons, why I don't use an external pump. These are a lot quieter, very efficient. These are 36 volt pumps, and I love them. I mean, they're very adjustable, tune me right in to where I needed to be. And that's why I don't use them. I had a couple of external pumps before, and they were just too noisy, and I didn't like them. So I got this big bottle brush right here, cleaning the inside of the housing out. In the bucket here, I've got some RODI water, so as not to add any chlorine or anything to the tank. Look down inside there, see if you got anything else you got to clean out. You can get the tip to go down in where the shaft goes. That helps too. You're never going to get it exactly perfect. unless you got a sponge brush. Sometimes, depending on the pump size, you can get your fingers down in there. And then just rinse it out a few times. This is a 20,000 liter an hour pump. Alright, do the same thing with the impeller here. Now, you can buy a lot of these smaller brushes, which are perfect to get inside the impeller wheel. In most baby food aisles, where to keep all the bottles, little cleaning brush sets. What I like to do is curve the end of it somewhat close to the shape of the internal wheels on the impeller. Give them a brush out. Keep dunking it and rinsing it. Get your brush wet if that helps. It's amazing how many people I talk to that don't do this. But there is a lot of people that still do it, so. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. You're not going to be pressure washing it. None of that. You probably do a couple of the openings that you've already done just because you weren't paying attention or counting or anything. But you'll visibly be able to see that it is clean. Check it for any defects. Make sure there's no damage. Go back over it and see if you missed anything from any other angles. Sometimes you gotta adjust the bend in your cleaner. If you hold it up to the light, you'll really be able to see what you missed here. And this really affects the performance of your pump. It's really surprising how this little bit of buildup can affect how many gallons per hour go through your setup. Now I have another pump, an 18,000, that's running my skimmer, which we'll be cleaning the skimmer next. So we're going to be doing another one of these pump cleanings. It's a slightly smaller pump than this, but still quite rather large. There's 480 gallons per hour going through the skimmer. So I needed a decent pump. I probably could have gone with a 15,000 liter an hour pump instead of the 18, but I always like to have it overdone and throttle it down or have it turned down. Doesn't use as much energy than having a smaller pump cranked way up. It makes the pump last a lot longer to do it that way. So now I'm just cleaning the plate here, getting in between this thing that grabs the that separates the plate from the impeller and the magnet. There's some buildup on here. Also, some of these, like this one, has a hole through it. You want to see if it's clogged up. It allows water to go through the center of the impeller to the end. And if you got the right size brush, you should be able to send it all the way through. This one's a little tight, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. If you can see through it, you can blow through it if you want. A little bit of stuff in there, but I don't unless you have this perfectly straight or it's a little thinner, you won't make it through it. Let me grab a different brush. I'll be right back. Okay, so this brush is one, you see the little handle on it, it comes with a lot of bottles, it's for cleaning straws. This one goes all the way through. You can see some gunk on there already. Go through it both ways. I mean, this is important. Gets you, keeps everything nice and clean. Allows it to cool the inside of the motor shaft. Now I'm going to just take this brush, try and get down into the smaller parts. Make sure that it's clean in there. Bend the tip over so I can get some brush on the tip. Get where the big one didn't get. Remember, if you get all this out of there, it'll take a little longer for it to build back up for the next time. Fill it up and pour it out. Now inspect these other holes here. Make sure there's nothing clogging them. That's how the water gets it back around. So that's that. Give it a once over and make sure I didn't miss anything. I mean, you got nothing else to do if you're sitting at home and you've done all the other cleanings you needed to do around the house. She's nice and clean. All set. You can feel it with your fingers. If it's still slimy, still needs some more cleaning. And you can also see it. It's just as clear. Sometimes I just spin it around with the brush underneath it. Keep rinsing it and looking at it. Probably hard for you guys to tell, but now it's nice and clear. Keep checking it. Like I said, you don't have to be this crazy about it if you don't want to. Be careful that you don't make anything that's going to crack your impeller. Good thing is there's super glue. These things are pretty much heat welded together and or glued. I'm just giving it a once over just to make sure. I think Dixie sees a squirrel outside. Alright. Put the impeller back in the housing. Turn it until tabs lock into place. Give it a spin. Make sure she spins good. Now to clean up the inside of this housing. Just run this brush around it. In and out the openings. Sometimes it helps if you just put it down in the water. It rinses the brush pretty quickly. And give it a little look. Run your finger around it and make sure. Dixie, stop. That squirrel's going to be there later. Keep your O-ring clean. If you're still watching, you're obviously bored. Whatever. I know this can be boring. I'm just doing these to help keep you occupied. I got a towel here that I'm using, which is clean. from my fish room. Gonna run that O-ring through it. Make sure it's nice and clean. Place the O-ring back on the housing here. Put this back on an angle. Twist and lock it clockwise. Rinse any gunk off the base. Slide the base on and lock it. There you go. I'm not going to make you watch me clean the other pump, but that's basically what I do. I try and do it once a month. I'll show you all the gunk in this bucket before I go. Next up, we'll be cleaning the RK5AC, the big huge skimmer I got back there, and I'll also be making a recirculating filtering setup with a pump and some filters and a strainer to clean out any of the stuff in the tank. This way you're not having to do a water change. You can do this intermittently if you want to clean the tank. I've let the tank just kind of mature, haven't done a whole lot to it as of late, and just been running it like that, but it's time to really give it a good clean out, clean any algae, sediment, or anything that's in it, and get that all cleaned up. But I don't necessarily want to do a water change, so I have some filters and hosing and all that, and we'll be giving you a rundown on that. So check this stuff out in the bucket. See if you can see all that nastiness down there. Okay, everybody. Joe Cool out. Thanks for subscribing. Hopefully this is somewhat keeping you from being super bored, and gives you an idea to clean your return pump in your tank or your return pumps. So Joe Cool out. Thanks for watching.